Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Poonam Chawla, an assistant professor with Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Management Studies in Rohini. Today we are going to discuss on the interesting and intriguing subject of training needs assessment. This is part 2 in the series. The learning outcome associated with this module are: what are the methods used in need assessment? What are the approaches to training needs assessment? What are the outcomes of training need assessment, training needs, and summary of the module? Once you are through with this module, the student will be able to identify different methods used in need assessment, approaches to be adopted for training need assessment, and outcomes of training need assessment. Let us discuss the methods used in need assessment. There are various methods that are used for conducting need assessment, which includes observing employee performance, utilizing online technology, reading technical manuals and other documentation. It also involves interviewing, conducting focus group discussions, questionnaires which are designed to identify tasks and knowledge, skills, abilities and other characteristics required for a job. A table presents advantages and disadvantages of these methods in the next slide. Approaches to training need assessment. The first approach to training need assessment is proactive training need analysis. The proactive training need analysis focuses on future human resource requirement. Two approaches can be taken to develop needed knowledge, skill, and aptitude. Prepare employees for promotion, transfer to different jobs. Prepare employees for change in their current jobs. The proactive approach starts with the strategic plan and objectives. The analyst tries to determine the best fit between the organization's current internal environment, which includes structure, policies, procedures, and the future expectations of the employees. There are various questions that arise, like: are enough employees available to accomplish the objective? Informal procedures might be evaluated with the following questions: are norms in place that would restrict output? Will worker believe that changes in performance are required? What formal procedures are short circulated by informal procedures and what are the implications of it? We should remember that jobs are dynamic, always changing over time. Today, however, the changes in some jobs are much more dynamic than in past. Employees need to be prepared for these changes. The job analyst must gather information not only on what tasks are done but also on what tasks will be required in the future. This strategic job analysis is defined as identifying the KSAs required for effective performance in a job as it is expected to exist in the future. Data gathering is identical to that in traditional job analysis with the addition of section called gather information on the future. In this case, you need input from more than just incumbents and supervisors. At least one person who is responsible for developing the corporate strategy of the firm and is closely tied to the job in question. Someone who is aware of the competition structures, the job, technologically and from human resource standpoint. An efficiency expert, someone who worked his or her way up through the job in question. A forward-thinking incumbent, one who is willing to suggest new ideas. However, this list is not exhaustive and serves only as a guide. Once you gather these data, you can complete a revision of the task and KSAs based on these changes. Now we shall discuss reactive TNA. The reactive training need analysis begins with an existing discrepancy in your job performance. In this sense, it represents a more complete picture of the process. A middle manager may notice that the production is dropping. A supervisor may see that a particular employee's performance declined, or human resource may note an increase in grievances from a particular department. Once you identify a discrepancy, you need to determine whether it is worth fixing or not. Although this decision may be based on financial implications, it does not have to be. For example, the company notes that one department has lower ratings of supervisory consideration than the organization expected. In the reactive TNA, you still conduct the organizational analysis, operational analysis, and person analysis, but the distinction among them is even more blurred, primarily for the following reasons. The focus is primarily on one department. Those who demonstrate the discrepancy and their peers and subordinates are the key persons to be interviewed about all three components. The discrepancy focuses on the issue on a particular part of the job. Organizational analysis deals with three issues identified to the right of KSA deficiency. A complete analysis of all four aspects is necessary regardless of whether the issue is a KSA problem or not. Even if a lack of KSA is identified as a problem, other roadblocks may still be in place that will prevent performance even if the KSA is learned. In the reactive approach, the performance discrepancy is already identified because it triggered the analysis. This discrepancy determines where the focus of the TNA will be. From this initial discrepancy, an examination is needed to flush out the cause of the discrepancy as it has been described earlier. There are few other approaches which can also be adopted for training need analysis. The first approach is direct approach. The method most often used to assess training you need is to simply ask your employees. A survey might pose questions such as, overall, do you feel you contribute value to the company? How do you contribute? Do you feel you have all the skills necessary to do the job effectively? What training have you received last year? Was it effective? And what specific training would you like to get next? The challenge here is respondents don't like to admit that they are deficient or they have some training need. Even making the survey anonymous does not always solve the problem. The second approach is professional approach. The world is full of performance consultants who will be happy to analyze your job, identify your competencies you require to do a job, and then perform a gap analysis to determine each employee's area of improvement. Performing this type of analysis is usually very time consuming, and you can also expect some productivity loss from this approach, which in any case may not be the best if job requirement changes frequently. Moreover, it can also be very expensive and results are valid only as long as the required competencies are there. The third approach is secret shopper approach. To make this work, you need someone unknown to your employees. He calls the pre-selected employees under the guise of conducting an industry related survey. Under his guise, he asks questions such as, does your employer offer you ample training opportunities? What skills do you need to improve your job performance? And if you could develop any wanted, what it would be. The sampling should include some of your best employees and some employees who are not performing up to the mark. Another approach is buying cooperatives. Small companies can form alliances to improve their ability to buy training courses. Another is public seminars. Both technical and people skills training are offered through Mirage public seminars. This arena has also become very competitive. So be sure to shop around and get the price for your needs. Another method could be online learning. The employees need technical skills and are computer savvy. Consider online learning. However, this medium is not recommended for skills that require some type of human intervention. Consultants is another method. If you need customized training or standardized classroom instruction, using the services of a consulting firm may be extremely appropriate. Many professional training firms can deliver either on or off site learning, plus, there are those that will develop made to order courseware for individual client needs. Now, let us discuss the outcomes of TNA. Training need analysis will help you to determine what caused a performance discrepancy. The first step in a TNA is identifying performance discrepancies and deciding whether they are important to fix or they are important to ignore. You need to determine the cause of the discrepancy. Once you know the cause, you can determine what needs to be done to alleviate this discrepancy. The analysis process determines the discrepancy and then causes of the discrepancy. The outputs are non-training needs and training needs. No training needs, that is no KSA deficiency. No training needs module those that show to KSA deficiency and those characteristics by a KSA deficiency, but where training is not the best solution. First, let's discuss those who show no KSA deficiency. Here, no training needs are required as there are no performance discrepancies, reward or punishment incongruencies, inadequate or inappropriate feedback or obstacles in the system. No amount of knowledge, skill and aptitude development will improve performance in these situations where these problems exist. These causes of performance discrepancies should be uncovered in your organizational and operational analysis. Let's discuss first discrepancy, reward punishment incongruence. It is working at the expected level of performance, punishing for some or all those working in a particular job. Suppose an employee who works much harder than the others, notice he is treated exactly the same way as those who just do the bare minimum job. It may not be long before he stops making that extra effort or he stops going that extra mile in the job. Instead, in this case, the supervisor should be trained on how to provide rewards to the employee who is going an extra mile and probably give some negative reinforcement to those employees who are not putting their best in accomplishing their task. Feedback. Another non-training need comes from employees not receiving appropriate feedback. Numerous examples tell that employees who believe that they are good in performance but their supervisors have a different viewpoint. Supervisors generally dislike providing negative feedback. In fact, some suggest that it is most disliked activity in all the managerial jobs. Obstacles in the system. A third reason performance may be deficient is that conditions in the workplace obstruct the desired performance level. For example, the worker might be receiving the material too late, or he may be using old machinery and is also constantly interrupted by technical or human glitches. Once identified, these roadblocks need to be removed, and it can be complex in some cases, so the support of top level and middle level management is required. Non-training need, KSA deficiency. Now let's examine the non-training needs where a KSA deficiency is present, that is, knowledge, skill and attitude deficiency is present. Job title. A job and one solution. This is a set of instruction diagram, and like it is available in the number of joy site to provide guidance to the worker. It is useful if the task is complex. It requires a number of steps or if it is dangerous to forget a step. Airline pilots use job aid. A job and one solution. A job aid is a set of instruction diagram which is available to the worker for guidance. It is useful if the task is complex. For example, airline pilots use job aids. It is a list of things that they must do prior to the takeoff. It is simply a diagram that shows where the wiring runs, which color branches off and where to connect them if a person is doing a technical job. Because of the number of wires in the harness, memorizing their location would be difficult. Practice is another important skill that can be imbibed. Repeating the task again and again can actually make the person proficient. For example, officers are required to practice on the firing range each month. Schools do fire drills as practice to prevent a performance discrepancy if there is a havoc. Slide number 34. Changing the job itself. This approach may seem extreme, but it is sometimes worth considering. A number of years ago, salespersons in automobile dealership were responsible for the total job of selling a car. The most difficult part of selling is closing the deal, which require a different and distinct kind of knowledge. As a result, many salespeople did not last long in the business. This discrepancy led the dealers to change their job specifications and description. Now they provide the salespersons with the skill to show the car, discuss its options, discuss its feature and negotiate to a certain extent. Then when it comes to closing the deal, the salesperson could actually send in their sales manager who could convince the customer to buy the car. This is the summary of the module. Training is a reasonable solution when a performance deficit is caused by an employee's lack of knowledge, skill and aptitude. Most problems identified by managers as requiring training actually do not. Most such problems are a function of reward or punishment incongruities, inadequate feedback, or obstacles in the system. A training need assessment will reveal the reason for the problem. When training is required, a training need analysis assures that it is focused on the deficiencies in KSAs identified. The training will then be relevant for those attending and hence more motivating for the trainees. The likelihood is higher that training will be successful when a TNA is conducted because the appropriate knowledge, skills and abilities required to do the job are identified, which is also termed as operational analysis in the process. The knowledge, skill and abilities of the employees in that job are determined as person analysis. So, only those needing training are trained. Roadblocks to transfer of the training are identified and removed. The organizational analysis is designed to assess the capital resources, human resource availability, and the environment in which the work is conducted. It is important to understand the amount and type of resources available and what type of environment the affected employees work in. Often, employees are not performing at the expected level for reason other than the lack of knowledge, skills and abilities. The organizational analysis identifies these reasons so that they can be rectified. Even where KSAs are the problem, the remedies can be considered before training, and these remedies include job aids, practice and so forth. The operational analysis provides information pertaining to what knowledge, skills and attitudes requirements are for the job in question. Observing the job, doing the job, examining job descriptions and specifications are some of the ways of determining this information. The most often used, however, is to ask incumbents and supervisors what is required in a systematic way. There are two types of training need analysis that are proactive and reactive. With proactive training need analysis, HR is active in the development of the strategic plan, whereas it is vice versa in the case of reactive training. Once the strategic plan is determined, it is the responsibility of the training department to prepare the employees identified as needing new or updated knowledge, skills and abilities. Then, by the time the strategic plan is fully implemented, employees who require updating have already received it. In this process, the potential deficiency is never realized because employees receive the training to prepare for the changes before they affect productivity. The reactive TNA is far more common and is in response to a specific deficiency noted in a department or job. Here, the training need analysis needs to be completed more quickly because the deficiency is already hurting the productivity of the firm. Given that strategic plans are seldom implemented without problems and changes, an effective organization uses both types of training need analysis, namely proactive and reactive. Thank you. I hope you understood the module well.